All right, here we are under the bridge. So there's gonna be some audio that might not sound good, but bear with me. All right, let's see, should I turn the camera around? Yeah, I think I will. Hold on one second. I turned the camera around and put it into wide angle, just so you can kind of see where I'm stepping, where I'm going. It is a beautiful day. It's probably about 40 degrees 4 days after the big snowstorm, and there's still some icicles and waterfalls in the shadows over here across the lake or across the river. Let's go look. And I'm gonna zoom in here. Little grass in the way. You see a lot of these in the south when it gets cold. There's a lot of water coming out of the rocks, especially in the road cutouts. So this is the beautiful Barren Fork River. In the summertime, you'll see plenty of kayakers and people on tubes every day, all day coming down here. Okay, so here's the pool where the otters do like to hang out, and I've seen a few times. And across the way there, I think you can see some more icicles and whatnot. But it is a very beautiful scene here. Yes. Actually, when I come to fish here, I rarely catch anything. I'm mostly just kind of hanging out and looking for animals and creatures. And I do fish, but if I catch one, I'm usually good for the day and, choose to just kind of hang out and enjoy nature. That's really the biggest reason why I do have a fishing license. Just some days you get bored and, you get that feeling like when you're a kid, remembering the feeling of the fish on the line. And back then I was just catching bluegill, but here, there's lots of rock bass, and if I wanted to, just the next river down is like the muskie capital from what the locals tell me, which I've been here almost 5 years now, so I'm getting kind of local status in rural Tennessee. Oh, this is a cute scene. Hold on. Seems like a good spot to sit down for a while. Oh my goodness, that's a carcass. Oh, okay, let's turn around and take a look at this. Actually, we're turning around anyways at this point. I'm gonna pause, turn the camera around, and start the hike back towards the car. We just stepped over, graphic warning, this, which there definitely seems to be a deer antler in there. Yeah, and that's part of the nature we see here. It is curious, this spot didn't, maybe it got hit by a car and ran over here. Maybe a coyote got it. Who knows? Maybe it froze to death. I'm not a deer expert, but there's probably enough of you looking at it. So I'm gonna cut this off and we're just gonna go up that way. Actually, let's go right now. Push this thorn branch out of the way, walk around the carcass, and into the woods we go. Okay, so that was a fun little gross discovery. Back to our hike along the river. I'm still keeping my eye out for otters along the way here. They're kind of hard to spot because they're so quiet. Oftentimes just slowly swimming and popping their heads up. But if I see one, I'll try to show you. But as for now, we're just gonna walk through the woods. I might continue just talking, kind of exploring what it is to make a YouTube video and how much personal content or I don't know, philosophical I want to get. But it does feel kind of good just having a camera going and talking. I'm kind of doing this all the time in my head anyway. And It's better than like ruminating thoughts, which you all know is not good. Yeah. Here we are. You can probably see like the sun going down behind me. It's still winter time, 20 days or so past solstice. So it's like not even 5 yet. But we'll keep hiking down. It's really pretty. The snow left over from the snowstorm. Even in the middle of the city with the traffic noise, roads on both sides of the river, it's still such a beautiful spot. And the rivers have really gotten a lot cleaner in my lifetime. I'll be 40 in 2 months. But the otters, or no, the beaver, the otters were extinct here for a long time, up until 1984, early 80s. I think there was a couple different years where they released otters that they got from Mississippi back up here in the Caney Fork system, which is 2 rivers down. And then in the last 40 years, they've gone all the way up to Hickory Creek, which is one of the upper creeks in the watershed. And so it's great to come here after 40 years of productive like migration and rehabilitation of river otters in this area, and good for them. They look like they have a lot of fun, and so that's why I wouldn't mind being one. But here, let's go look at this cave rock across the river. This is probably a spot I wouldn't be surprised if was home to otters, or at least the place they hung out. Here we go. So it doesn't look like much here on the camera, but that's about a 2-foot tall opening, which is plenty big for some otters to go and hang out in. From my experience, I've seen otters in crevice kind of caves like that. Yeah, so it's fun to look for the spots where the otters might hang out. Who knows what they're doing right now? I'm not a biologist. I really don't know the full daily habits of otters. But they do seem pretty playful at nighttime, for sure. In the daytime, they seem to be on the prowl, maybe for food or whatnot. Going up some kind of steep steps. Yeah, I really got to get better with identifying little mammals here in Tennessee. Like muskrat is something I've become aware of, and I didn't really think about muskrat before I moved here. Caught on some thorns. But yeah, I've seen some muskrat. My favorite's been the mink. I'd never seen a wild mink until I moved here, and they just look like squirrels with different tails and a little bit longer and a little bit prettier fur. But yeah, it's cool. My friend had a ferret growing up, and it always kind of skeezed me out, but I did enjoy, I did get to like it. So, oh man, hiking uphill. Oh buddy, I gotta get in shape. Anyway, you don't want to hear me talking. Let's go look at some nature. Alright, dipping back off the trail again, down to the riverbank. I don't think this spot I'm walking on now hasn't been flooded since Memorial Day, if I recall correctly. It was a pretty dry summer, you can tell. But this snow's got it up about a foot from where it was just a month ago. That and a couple rains. Alright, I'm still getting used to being on camera, so I'm just playing around here. looking at myself instead of looking at the camera, right? Is that something you've got to learn? No, this is fun. This is fun. So let's just get some. I've always hated that peel banana stuff to get you like loosened up. So let's just do some spins like for little kids. You know, some spins. Okay, I've been rambling to the camera, enjoying just walking through the woods with a selfie stick. But here we are towards sunset. I'm gonna take you guys to one of my favorite spots, a spot where I have actually encountered an otter up close and personal. It's a little cave, we'll see here in a minute. And I had my little folding chair sitting in front of it in the sun, enjoying some rays and listening to a podcast, probably drinking a beer, I forget. But I hear some rustling behind me, almost like a little squirrel kind of noise. And then I look over to this crevice under a rock next to me, behind me, just feet away, 4 or 5 feet. And yeah, there's this like furry mammal, full like mouth open, like claws, for like 1.5 seconds, and then darted back into its little cave. But I got out of there. I noped out real quick. Yeah, I wasn't trying to get clawed and have to go get a rabies shot or something. Not that I assume I had rabies, but yeah, I don't know. Can't be too careful, I guess, right? Who knows? But if I ever hear those noises, I don't hang out there. That was years ago, so I'm not sure if it's still an active spot, but I'm gonna go check it out. So this is the little cave where I once encountered an otter, an angry otter. But I got out of here and I haven't seen any since. But we'll still be careful. If we hear any, we'll go away. Continuing on, just to the very end here, this nice little rock side, gully, cliff face overlooking the river. It really is quite something. Okay, so here I am at my favorite sunset spot. You got the rocks behind, which keeps the sun like bouncing back on you, and then the river below that kind of throws the sun up at you. So even in the wintertime, you get a little bit of warm sun on you right before it dips down. So I think we're over the water reflection now, that we're too late for that, but we're up here high on the rocks to get just the last little bit of sunlight for the day. And my actual real favorite spot is right on top of that little rock there. So we're gonna climb up here and perch ourselves up there for the sunset. Oh, gotta be careful, it's kind of steep, a little bit muddy. There's not a lot of room up here. So we come out. Oh yeah, it's still a little wet. But here we are at the beautiful Sunset Secret River spot. Here I am crouched at my secret favorite sunset spot, up against the rocks here, perched up on this little ledge above some more rocks above the river. So yeah, I'm just crouching right now, deciding whether I want to get my bum wet. I might sit on my backpack though. I got probably like 25 minutes before the sun like sets behind the trees over there. So just gonna hang out and enjoy it. Yeah, have my last beer and then probably head back to the van and go home and who knows, dream about being on the water somewhere. No, but that is like what I do. I work and like go hang out by the river or creek, and I really do need more interaction with people. I do have it. I've got friends that I see on a weekly basis, a couple different friend groups, but I gotta I don't know. I need more creative output in my own life, I think, to enjoy some of that social interaction and kind of crave for it. Something somebody told me a long time ago is, to be interesting, you have to be interested. And I think that kind of means for me, I think that kind of means being creative in your own life, being productive, but not in a work sense, not in a making money sense, but being productive mentally and holistically, physically, mentally, putting your mind and body to something. And yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm doing here a little bit. So I hope you've enjoyed this long meandering nature walk / monologue. And there will be some exciting sailing content and probably some skateboarding and sewing and camping and carpentry. So stay tuned for fun stuff like that and walks by the river like this. And yeah, if there's something you think you'd like me to talk about or some questions that you have about my thoughts or outlook on things, feel free to ask them. And yeah, we'll see. I'll try to address them and talk or create content for it or whatever. Just interact. So anyway, have a good afternoon, evening, morning, or whatever, wherever you are.